DMC to KING. I'ma say this once, I ain't gonna say it again. DMC in the place to be, and the place for you to be is right here with Fred White. Tales from the pen. Yeah, that's it.
Salute people, we back. Fred White, Tales from the pen. If you're new to the channel, go down and hit the subscribe button. Click the bell notification and then click the word all. And make sure the bell is shaded in. This way, anytime I post a video, you will know about it. For those of you who may have just stumbled upon my channel, my name is Fred. And I talk about the negative choices that I've made in life, which led to horrific consequences in my life and other people around me's lives as well. I talk about wanting to be a tough guy in the streets. I talk about loving my hood. I talk about loving the streets, who eventually I found out didn't love me back. So I started to write a little memoir of sorts, a little book, but the reality is I just didn't have time in the, enough time in the day to actually complete it and finish it. But I have a bunch of chapters ready to go. I'm gonna read you one little passage, which is gonna lead to today's conversation, which is Rikers Island. So going into Queens County Criminal Courthouse wasn't foreign to me. This time, however, things were different. As I was led into court with my hands cuffed behind my back, surrounded by court officers, the magnitude of the past few days were finally becoming clear to me. I searched the audience as I walked to the podium. I saw my mom and a few others. I nodded and smiled to let them know I was okay, but they knew that was the furthest from the truth. The judge asked me my name and to spell it for the court, which I did. The DA said they were charging me with murder. And then the judge asked, how did I plead? I replied, not guilty. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, did he just say murder? Wait, didn't he understand this was an accident? Wait, didn't he understand I didn't mean for this to happen? Murder, that's a big word. All these things ran through my head as my lawyer and the DA sparred back and forth about bail. My lawyer, Richard Leff, argued that my family was in the audience and I wasn't a risk to flee from the charges. The prosecutor pointed out that I've been arrested 4 other times and 3 were for attempted murder, 2 of which I pled guilty to assaults. And at the time of the offense, was on probation for said offenses. After a little more back and forth, the judge said, remand. I was confused as the court officers whisked me back into the bullpen, threw me in the cell, closed the gate. I asked one of the guys that was in this jam cell, made for 4 but had 20 in it, what's remand mean? He looked at me, he shook his head and said, it means you're coming with me to the island. I was going with him to the island. I was going where I heard all these horrific stories about. See, any other time I was arrested, I was always juvenile and I was always out on bail ASAP. Things were different now. There was no bail. Nobody could save me from what I was about to go through. I was about to go through a jungle. I wasn't ready for it. As soon as you get to Rikers Island, they whisk you in bullpens. A lot of times you'll have the reception porters. They're like the hustlers. They'll come up and say, hey man, listen, like if you have something nice on, you have some new sneakers, or you have jewelry, or you have a nice watch, they'll come up and say, hey man, listen, you want to sell that? At least let me give you some cigarettes, because you're going to have to fight for that. If you had nice shit and you ain't know nobody, you didn't know anybody, you were going to have to fight for that, like 1,000%. So a lot of times dudes understand that philosophy too. They know, damn, I'm going to have to fight for these new, whatever it was back in the days, these new Bally sneakers I got, the Bally sneakers that just came out. The all white one with the blue on the side. The sneakers. See, Bally's was known for this. The thing that came with the sneakers. Right? You might have had just copped the new Ewings or something like that and then got arrested. You see what I'm saying? The new Mikes. You know, Jordan was just starting, you know what I mean? The red and black joints, like, you might have had something like that. And you might have understood that these guys are going to kill me for this shit. So when the porters is there, right there in reception, when they like, yo, man, I'll give you 4 or 5 packs of cigarettes, it's like you're saving grace. And what size you wear. Like, they already have, like, sneakers your size, dirty sneakers on your side, because this is what they do. Size 10? I'll be right back. They come back with some decent, here, take these. You know they ain't gonna rob you for these. Boom, give you cigarettes, boom, keep it moving. You know what I mean? So I seen that a lot. A lot of dudes get them porters before they get fucking robbed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then you go to a house. Like for me, I went to the dorms. I think it was like Mod 8, you know? It was the Queen's house. A lot of Queens dudes. Big Rondu was there. I think Rondu from Baisley or 40, right? I think Baisley. I'm not sure, sorry dude. Jamaica. That's my guy. And then Ty was there, cat nephew. But anyway, I got cool with them later, but I was there for like a day. They came on a search. Now, the dorm are actually modular. So they lifted up some tiles under I was there, I had nothing to do with it. Lifted it up and they said I tried to escape. I just got there. The modulars, you can actually, like the tiles there, like if I'd have known, you could, and then you just crawl out. But now you crawl out and you got fucking barbed wires and police and dogs, and then when you get over that barbed wire, you got to jump in the water. You're surrounded by water. Rikers Island is just that. It's an island. It's surrounded by water. It's like, other than boats, one way in, one way out. That bridge. Where it gets real quiet. The motherfuckers come across that bridge. Yeah, be real rowdy on that bus until you hit Hazen Street. Yeah. Yeah, and then you see that sign there, and you make that right, and you go over that bridge. Shit changed. So they threw me in the cells. Now I have no dorm status. And when you go in, as soon as you walk in through the gate right there, boom, they close the gate behind you. You're in a little pen by yourself. You look to the left. There's the day room. That's where the gorillas are. Everybody's coming to the gate. Kids, I want you to understand this. I want you to understand that this is why I do this. I don't do this for a glorification kind of way at all. I need kids and people to understand. So the gorillas was looking. Lions, tigers, and they coming to the gate. There's a little gate right here. When you walk in, to the right here is the police bubble, the door. But you're not in there yet. You're not in with the lions and tigers yet. Now they looking you up and fucking down. You know, because if you made it past reception with your shit, now you may be wishing, damn, I should have gave that shit. I should have sold these Jordans. Because now they're looking you up and down. Where you from? You know, shit like that. Oh, man. I get goosebumps thinking about that shit. Looking at everybody. Like, who the fuck is this little white boy? I remember, because here's the thing, no matter what, you're going to get tested in some type of way. That's how it goes. So, I remember this one kid, he seemed like he was okay. Spanish kid. We'll just call him Mach. So he, like, used to ask me, you know, yo, you want to get on the phone, like, certain times, things like that. Like, he was, like, running. I was like, all right, cool, you know, because in the beginning, listen to me. I played my position. You know, because after a certain time on Rikers Island, you can't touch the phone. You can get on maybe in the morning. There's some houses you got to get on between 9 and 11, 9 and 12, and that's it. Don't touch the phone. There's some houses that are more lenient where it'll be like after 4, don't touch the phone. Like, it's just different, but different things. The phone, though. The phone was always a big thing. The phone was where, you know, everyone would kill each other over. You had some guys who had phone time just to have phone time, to sell it because they had nobody to call, but it was more of a status thing. You had to have phone time. But in the beginning, I played my position. That's how it goes. Anybody else who tells you different, then, you know, that's on them. I'm telling the truth. So the kid seemed like he was alright. Then commissary day came around. And he was asking people to get him things, and he came to me, he's like, yo man, can you get me it was like 3 sodas or something. They used to sell like the big, what's that, 1 liter, the skinny ones. He's like, yo, do me a favor, buy me 3 sodas, you know, what would I? Now I thought the dude was cool here, let me get on the, you know. Then my little man came, my little man Mikey, he was a short, white kid. Well, he was like white Spanish, he was like Spanish. But I think he was he might have been like Puerto Rican and Italian or something, but something like that. He was like, nah. Now, me and Mikey, I got cool over the, you know, and my boy Ron Du from Far Rockaway. You know, he's one of my brothers still to this day. But anyway, so Mike was like, nah, don't give him them sodas. You know what I mean? So I was like, why? He's like, because then you're going to be his son. I didn't know what's a son, man. These dudes talking about he's, you know, see, son is different eras, right? Back then, you know, when you're sonning somebody, like you got them under the wing. I learned this through experience, through trials and error. You understand? And then later on, it became like my brother. Yo, that's my son, that's my brother. So different eras, it meant different things. So whatever happened, blah, blah. So when he came for the sodas, whatever, he was like, yo, what happened? I was like, nah, I'm not getting, you know, I said something like, nah, it's not happening. I ain't got it. He's like, damn, but you know, you got a lot of stuff. But I was like, nah, I said I ain't got it, man. He was like, oh, it's like that. But he had known that the couple dudes that I was cool with there, you know, they was about their business too. You know what I'm saying? My little man Mikey would cut you in a second. And, you know, I learned that later, you know. From then on, me and Mikey became cool throughout our beds and Kaksaki, and you know, he became cool with my family, my mom. But you know, I had dudes that schooled me like, nah, that don't work like that. So yeah, I took my lessons, because that's how it is. Sometimes you have to have somebody that does show you a little bit, that's a little more seasoned, a little more wiser. You know what I mean? And show you the jail rope. He was one of the dudes that showed me how to carry a razor in my mouth too. Him and I remember Al G. You know, we started out with the bread thing first. You know the bread plastic that you put on your bread? It's like a little rectangle, whatever, to get used to it. I showed you guys that before, but this is for the new people. Because back then when you walked through the Magnometers, they didn't ring. This didn't ring in your mouth. Other different places it may. Like if you carry it, for some reason in the mouth, you didn't that's just the way it was. Boom. So now even if it does ring, you know, like, even if it does ring, they throw you on the wall. Search you. You know what I'm saying? I've showed that trick a few times, even on my first video. But, you know, these guys schooled me to the game. Because Rikers Island was a fucking war zone. You had dudes that used to just go to court with bummy shit. I spoke about this before. Bummy stuff. And come back with brand new stuff, because that's what they were doing. They were going there. They were happy to go to court, because now for them, they're going in the bullpens. They're going to rob somebody. They're going to cut somebody. Cut somebody's face for their sneakers. You know, they're going to stab you for your shirt if you don't give it up. Back then, the Swatch watches was the shit. The Swatch watches, where you could take the faces and shit out. You had a Swatch watch? Yeah. So if you seen dudes with or you know, you even seen the bigger ones with Rolex, you had dudes walking around with Rolexes in there. So if you seen a dude with a big Rolex, a big chain, something like that, he's somebody. He was somebody. My man, GT Bourne, my man Bourne, Brooklyn legend. Shout out to, you know, that's my guy. Rolex, he had the biggest chain that I've ever seen in jail. He had the big chain with rubies and diamonds and some shit. Bourne got shot. He got shot on Rikers Island. I don't know if it was for that. I don't know why. But Bourne got shot in his chest on Rikers Island, coming out the church. Him and a Jamaican kid named Speedy. They both got shot. But Speedy got hit, I think, in the leg, but I think Bourne got shot in his chest. I know Bourne got shot in his chest. On Rikers Island. I remember one time, story time, so when we used to have to go to like sick call or law library or something like that, you sign up and then they come around and they take the people on the list who had signed up for like the law library. Like the law library, sometimes dudes just want to get out the house and go to the law library, maybe look up stuff in their case, but most likely it was just to get out the house, hang out with a few other people, blah, blah. So I remember we were going to the law library. It was just a few of us, and we were picking up houses as we were going to the law library. So the police would come and be like, law library, let me get the law library list, and look, and everyone line up who signed up for the law library. Sometimes you have to sign up the night before, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it went, but there's a list. So it was a few of us that went, me, it was this kid Ty from the Bronx, and Tiny was from the Bronx too. So I remember them three. It was a couple of us, but I remember them specifically. So we going to pick up another house. We were going to pick up in the MO house. They called it the MO house, where people play crazy or whatever, or cut out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And people saying they hear voices or whatever, they would put them down there. That's how easy it was. Like, oh my God, I'm hearing voices in my head. They're gonna put you down in 4 lower, or wherever they. Sometimes they would move the house around, but back then it was 4 lower. Was that they called it the MO house? You know. So these dudes come out from 4 lower, and this one little Spanish kid, we're gonna call him Jerry. You know, protect certain names. So Jerry came out, and I seen the way I was like at the back of the line. So they were coming in, and I seen the way he was looking at me, and he started telling his man something. So I see the way they walking towards me, and he was like, you know, you such and such, you Fred? I was like, and you know, telling him, turn around over here. I'm like, oh, yeah, why, what's up? So he's like, 165. Now when he said 165, I already knew something, because that was my clique in the street. Like, that was what we called it. You know, we had a little graffiti crew or whatever. that was my clique. You with me? And we call we called ourselves 165. That was the park we hung out in. That was the school we all grew up in, the neighborhood, and that was the park, and we ended up naming ourselves that, kind of, right? That was one of our names. So I was like, yeah. And he was like, I'm such and such. And he said his tag name. So I already knew when I heard the name. I had heard his name before in the streets. And then he had a fight with one of my best friends in the park. I wasn't there. Supposedly they went at it for like a half hour. Fighting, whatever. So as soon as he said that, so the way he was stepping to me, he was getting close, and I'm like, yeah, and I mushed him. Wow, like it was just a reaction, like he had gotten low. Yo, back the fuck up. Wow, mushed him. So his man threw a punch, and then my man jumped in. Shit got crazy right there. So whatever, they pulled the pin. They took me, and I remember it was me, Ty, and Tiny. They took us to the Why Me pens. So the Why Me pens is around the corner. Like there's a nurse's office. You go around the corner, and there's this pen back there. It's called the Why Me pen. And they also have couple little ones in reception. As soon as you come in reception, you had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pen. And then on the sides here, you had a couple of little pens. They call those the Why Me pens too. So anyway, so they threw us in the Why Me pens. We was like, oh shit, thank you, whatever. So they came and got us. I guess they had no room and said whatever. They put us back in the house. So now the next day, the whole house signed up for law library. The whole house. They were like, yo, dudes try to jump us from 4 lower. And the story spread. So the whole house signed up, man. That was like it was kind of like some love shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit. But what happened was they already knew what was up. You know what I'm saying? When they came and they saw the law library list, which usually only had like 3 or 4 people per day, when they saw 30 fucking names on the list, they were like, oh hell no. And they didn't let us go to the law library and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I mean, listen, I'm making light of that, right? I'm just saying, but these are the things that happen, people. It just took me down memory lane where some dudes had my back, that's all. Okay, that's the end of C-74 Part 1. I got Part 2 queued up and ready to go. So put it in the comments if you want me to drop Part 2. Alright? You guys know the motto, experience is the greatest teacher. But somebody else's experience can be just as valuable if you pay attention and listen. On that note, people, Fred White, signing off.